The stage was set in the summer of 1942. Adolf Hitler's Operation Barbarossa had already ravaged the Soviet Union, but he hungered for more. Stalingrad, named after Joseph Stalin himself, wasn't just a city, it was a symbol. Controlling it meant choking Soviet supply lines along the Volga River and securing oil fields in the Caucasus. For Hitler, it was personal, a chance to humiliate Stalin. But for the people on the ground, it was terror incarnate. German soldiers, once confident invaders, now whispered fears of the endless Russian winters. Soviet civilians, evacuating in panic, left behind homes that would soon become graves. The emotion here? Pure dread mixed with defiant hope. As the Wehrmacht's tanks rolled in, no one could predict the nightmare ahead. By the summer of 1942, the German Sixth Army surged across the Kalmyk steppe under a blazing sun. Panzer columns kicking towering dust clouds into the sky as confidence ran high from command to crew. General Friedrich Paulus observed the advance with unshakable certainty, while deep inside Stalingrad's factories, civilians and workers still forged weapons amid flames and collapsing roofs. On August 23rd, the Luftwaffe turned the city into an ocean of fire. Bombers roared overhead, bombs fell in endless waves, and entire neighborhoods vanished beneath smoke and flame reflected across the Volga like molten glass. In basements below, terrified families clung together as the ground shook and light bulbs swung wildly, marking the moment when Stalingrad's civilian nightmare truly began. By late August, the city became a lethal maze. German infantry pushed cautiously through shattered streets, while Soviet snipers watched from high ruins, every broken window a possible death trap. Close-quarters Rattenkrieg erupted room by room, grenades thrown through doorframes, submachine guns firing point-blank in choking smoke as men fought like animals for stairwells and corridors. Amid the chaos, moments of fragile humanity survived. A German private scribbling a letter home beside the dead, and Soviet soldiers sharing crusts of bread with civilians by candlelight inside blasted apartments. September saw desperation intensify on both sides. Under tracer fire and drifting smoke, Soviet reinforcements crossed the Volga on overcrowded ferries, wading ashore at dawn over bodies and blood-soaked rubble with grim resolve. German patrols prowled moonlit courtyards, and machine gun crews lit the nights with muzzle flashes, while medics dragged wounded comrades across shell-torn streets. Finally, German troops reached the river's edge and raised their flag, yet instead of triumph, they found hollow stares and doubt as the endless Volga stretched before them, signaling that the battle for Stalingrad had only just begun. As autumn turned to winter, the battle intensified into a meat grinder. Paulus's forces pushed toward the Volga, capturing key landmarks like the Mamayev-Kurgan Hill, a blood-soaked mound where bodies piled like snowdrifts. Soviet snipers, legends like Vasily Zaitsev, embodied cold precision amid chaos. Zaitsev's duels with German marksmen weren't just tactical, they were personal vendettas, fueled by hatred and survival instinct. Imagine the pulse-racing tension, one wrong breath, and you're gone. German troops, frostbitten and starving, felt isolation creep in. Letters from home brought fleeting joy, but reality was grim. Rats gnawed at rations, and comrades fell to unseen bullets. Chuikov's strategy was simple, yet devastating. Hug the enemy close, denying them artillery advantage. Buildings changed hands multiple times a day. Pavlov's house, a single apartment block, held for 58 days against waves of attacks. Defenders inside, a mix of soldiers and civilians, shared stories around dim fires, forging bonds in the face of death. A young soldier's diary entry captures the humanity. "I miss the sun, my family, but here we are family now. We cry for the fallen, then fight harder." The cold amplified suffering. Temperatures plummeted to -30 degrees Celsius, turning wounds fatal and hope fragile. Luftwaffe supply drops failed miserably, leaving Germans scavenging like beggars. Emotions peaked in waves. Euphoria from small victories, crushing grief from losses. By November, the city was a skeleton, but the spirit endured. The turning point came on November 19, 1942, Operation Uranus. Soviet generals Georgy Zhukov and Alexander Vasilevsky orchestrated a masterful counteroffensive, exploiting weak Romanian flanks guarding the German rear. Over 1 million Red Army troops smashed through, encircling 300,000 Axis soldiers in a massive pocket. The shock was palpable. German commanders, once arrogant, now panicked. Paulus requested retreat, but Hitler forbade it, promising air supplies that never materialized. Hermann Göring's boastful Luftwaffe could only deliver a fraction needed, leaving troops to starve. Inside the cauldron, human suffering reached apocalyptic levels. Soldiers ate horses, then rats, then nothing. Frostbite claimed limbs, disease ravaged bodies. A German officer's letter home dripped with despair. "We are doomed. Tell my wife I love her." Soviets, sensing victory, felt a rush of vindication. Their sacrifices weren't in vain. Artillery barrages pounded the trapped, while fresh troops poured in. Emotions clashed, Soviet elation versus German resignation. Attempts to break out failed. Manstein's relief effort stalled in the snow. By Christmas, the encircled celebrated grimly with ersatz trees, clinging to fading hope. The battle's cruelty exposed war's underbelly, brothers in arms turning skeletal, dreams shattered. January 1943 brought the end. With supplies exhausted, Paulus's army splintered. Northern pockets fell first, then the south. On January 31, Paulus surrendered, the first German field marshal captured in history. Over 91,000 prisoners stumbled out, ghosts of men, their eyes hollow with defeat. Only 6,000 would survive Soviet camps. The toll, 1.1 million Soviet casualties, 800,000 Axis dead or wounded. Stalingrad lay in ruins, 99% destroyed, its people scarred forever. Survivors' stories evoke profound emotion. A Soviet veteran recalled holding a dying comrade. His last words were of home. "It broke me." Germans faced humiliation, their invincibility myth shattered. Stalin's propaganda hailed it as heroism, but the human cost lingered. Widows weeping, orphans wandering. The battle's intimacy amplified grief. Enemies who fought inches apart now shared the same frozen fate. The Battle of Stalingrad wasn't just a military pivot. It broke the Nazi war machine, paving the way for Allied victory. It symbolized resilience, where human emotions, fear, love, hatred, fueled history's deadliest clash. Today, visit the Mamayev Kurgan statue, feel the weight of those who endured. Remember, in war's shadow, humanity shines brightest through our shared suffering and strength. This story reminds us wars are won not by machines, but by hearts that refuse to break. If this gripped you, like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. What battle should we cover next? Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay human.